This is Dave and Lindsay TV, returning control to the people after years of European Union control and over-regulation. We are your Ukip councillors active in the communities of Rhos, the Bay and Old Colwyn. Welcome to our website, and here is Councillor Lindsay Griffiths.
Hello and welcome, dear viewers and listeners. Special welcome to the electors, the voters of Colwyn Bay, namely Rhos-on-Sea, EIRIAS and Colwyn.
I'm coming, my dear wife, Lindsay. I tell you, dear electors, over 30 years of marriage, we have had battleground after battleground after battleground. I'll tell you why. We have lived in a EU-controlled environment of over-regulation. Lindsay, what has it been like for all of us?
Oh, it's been an increasing burden on every way and rates and taxes, isn't it? Business rates, huge amount of form filling and paperwork, and compensation culture.
It is over. We, the people, voted Brexit, and we need, because some people are saying, well, the need for UKIP is, that is nonsense. UKIP are here, Lindsay. We're here, not as some foreign power putting unelected views over us. We're here to take back control. We are here as representatives of the people, Lindsay, the mouthpiece of the people. And the people have had enough of all this nonsense over, what is it, 178%, Lindsay, of increase in council tax with decreasing services.
And I'm sorry to say, that's right, that Conwy is one of the worst culprits with one of the very highest rates of increase over the last few years.
And then they say to us, Lindsay, how can we reduce the cost? How can we make the council pay? I tell you, with common sense, let's stop the foreign, which it is, Brussels-controlled domination. No, Lindsay, our constitutional acts forbid, this is the 1534 Act of Supremacy, which was restored in 1559, still on the statute book, the Elizabethan settlement, forbids all foreign influence and infiltration into our legal and political processes. Right. And you can see it in Conwy County Borough Council.
You can. The obsession with recycling, but yet at the same time, fewer and fewer opportunities to recycle.
We used to, because we're getting older now, we used to recycle by taking our lemonade bottles back to the shop where we got it.
That's right.
And do you think the EU invented it? See, I've got no problems, Lindsay, with recycling. I've got every problem with the EU telling us to recycle. It should only be the elected officials, not the unelected ones, who tell us what we should do and so forth.
Absolutely.
So we produced some leaflets, haven't we, Lindsay?
We have indeed.
We have. Oh, let's get the leaflets. Here we are. Now, the first leaflet I'm going to show you, if I can get it here, is the council tax increases. Lindsay's got one. Lindsay is standing.
That's because that's him. On the front of that
and
one.
This is me.
That's me. Me and him, as they say.
We'll do the goodbye from him and goodbye from her at the end. But at the beginning of this leaflet, you will see the proof of council tax increases of 178% over 20 years. And we are saying that if we can have a properly elected council, we will put pressure on them to uphold the decision of the people as regards to Brexit, in that we want our own councillors, we want our own MPs and AMs to represent us, not be the slaves of the European Union.
And that's where we come in, because this is the establishment that David's just been talking about. See, we voted to leave and Article 50 has been triggered, but still at every level, including even on the council, local councils, the establishment are still trying to rule the roost. The establishment are trying to bury their heads in the sand and carry on as before. And people are feeling, ordinary people, they're not being listened to. So UKIP is to be the voice of the people and to listen to people and really care about people.
And we stand for real nationalism.
Yeah.
You know, Plaid Cymru, PC, politically correct Cymru, is passionate Remain, or Remon as we call them now. They want us to stay under Brussels. Now, if they were real nationalists, I can understand, Lindsay. If there are real Welsh people wanting for Wales to stand on its own and be a real nation, I can understand it. But by coming together as equal partners in the Union, with England, Northern Ireland and Scotland, we can do so much better together. You know, we need to have a United Kingdom truly independent, not under Brussels, Lindsay.
That's right, it's false nationalism. And really, you can't help wondering that in the Plaid heartlands in particular, which is not Colwyn Bay, admittedly, but in the Plaid heartlands further west, people voted Remain because they wanted to keep what they call the EU handouts. But I've got news for you. I'm sure you know already, the EU doesn't have any money of its own. It's just money that nations like ours has paid in, and they're just churning out
from
again.
the taxpayer.
Yeah.
So what has happened is the taxpayer has given it to Westminster. Westminster has given it to Brussels.
Yes.
And in Wales, they've been grovelling to Brussels for money, or a little bit of the money we've already paid in.
In other words, Brussels and the EU are experts at recycling other people's money.
It's got to end, and we need to have a local council. Now, you might say, well, how can there be a UKIP Conwy County Borough Council? I'll tell you how. When we get there, Lindsay, we are going to say, look, you're not in charge, the people are.
That's
the
it.
people have voted Brexit, and the people are demanding at local and national level that the people who think they're in authority... Look, the people are in authority.
Yep, that's it. The electorate.
The electorate is in authority, not the big, high-paid officials. And I can name one. Councillor Dilwyn Roberts, leader of the last council.
Who, thank goodness, is retiring this list, not standing again for election. Hooray!
Yeah, admittedly, he's a passionate Celt. He might be going bananas if he watches this. But dear Dilwyn had a problem, Lindsay.
Yes, about council tax.
About council tax. You know, this man earning £48,000 a year, who supposedly was voted in by the people. I can't see it. If people had known this was going to happen, I'm sure they wouldn't have voted him in. £48,000 a year, and received a summons from his own council for non-payment of council tax. Now, we sympathise, don't we, Lindsay?
Oh, yes, poor Dilwyn.
Poor Dilwyn, because council tax has gone up by 178% under leaders like him, and under his leadership, he could not even afford to pay his own council tax.
No.
So where do we go from here? I'm telling you where we go. We start running the council the way the electorate want it being run, with increased services and less taxes. Now, we have, Lindsay, on the back of this we in UKIP, you know, we're accused of being idealists. Well, we are correctly accused, because we believe in the ideal. And I believe the days of VAT, council tax and business rates what about the poor businesses with the
Oh,
revaluation?
it's absolutely crazy. Obviously, the rumour is that somebody somewhere in Cardiff is sitting in front of a computer who's never even been in any of these places or seen any of these businesses and is automatically rejigging their business rates. It's just crazy. Have you seen them?
Yeah,
Have you seen the list?
Remember, we're saying the rumour is before we get sued. Before
did say the rumour
you
is.
did say the rumour because they'll say Charlie Bloggs went out and saw one business at one time and all the rest of it. We know, but we have got a much better idea. The idea is we replace location tax because let's face it. Council tax is based on location and an outdated valuation. Business rates are based on location, not the amount of income coming in. So the simplest thing, and believe me, EU members have to suffer the complicated. We're looking to bring in the simple. The simplest thing, we have it on the back of this leaflet. The simplest thing is to bring in local income tax and local corporation tax, means a local code going on your inland revenue return. Then local councils can set the rate of local tax and local business rates, which means the councils compete with each other, like the states in the USA. The reason why USA is a rich country, by the way, is because it's a country which the states compete with each other. And in Wales, our counties can compete with each other, and by competing, they will keep business rates down and council tax down. Then instead of collecting taxes, the council can then be looking to build up business rather than suppress it. So I'm telling you, we're a party of ideals looking for the ideal, but know that the solution needs to be one free from EU control, which is where I bring in VAT, Lindsay.
Absolutely.
A EU tax. With Brexit, we need to restore purchase tax. Remember purchase tax?
And this will regenerate businesses, hard-pressed businesses. And all those years, nobody hardly seems to have done anything about the Conwy economy, the economy of this area of North Wales.
It's fragile, Lindsay.
It's very, very weak. I mean, it's so weak. I mean, Dilwyn's wages that we just quoted you, so salary of
£48,000.
It's double, more than double what the average person in Conwy County
We'll
is.
be looking at the high-paid officials in the council to see if they're worth it. Would you like us to do that, electorate? I know you will. I'm telling you, vote Lindsay Griffiths in EIRIAS for town, in Colwyn for county, and me in Llandrillo and Rhos. Remember, my name's Griffiths. Llandrillo and Rhos on Sea. Vote me in there for town, please. We have been on town for some years, as Lindsay has, for town, this time county, because in the big time council, I tell you what, when Dave and Lindsay walk through those doors in Bodle and Londeb, as your voted in people, they are going to know something, Lindsay.
And things will change.
They will change.
For the better.
They see us come in and they'll run out. I can tell you that for nothing. Now, Lindsay, as we come to our next leaflet, which is the battle for the heart of Rhos and the Bay and Old Colwyn, let me tell you this. We need to restore the heart of a suppressed community. A community which has been on the down, yet there's been good things happen. We know that there has been park areas, there has been improvements to the promenade, there has been the theatre,
the special events,
and all that. We're all for all that. We've got no problem with all of that. But what we need to do is build up our local economy. Let us do that. You know, on one occasion, Lindsay, I've been working on the Maddock project in Rhos on Sea with Councillor Roger Parry. And we've been working together on that, which shows how we work together. And we hit with this council barrier after barrier in dealing with the harbour area in Rhos on Sea, which is dangerous. You know, the road narrows and There's hardly an entrance onto the beach.
No facilities for the disabled for
No,
getting onto the
no,
beach.
no ramps, no push chairs. So we got, and the cycle track ends. So we got cyclists, we got cars, we got push chairs, we got wheelchairs. No access to the beach. We took it on, and I had a deal with one local businessman who was interested in actually building a replica of the Maddock ship, and we presented it. Oh. You know, we hit, you know what I mean by the old-fashioned scene?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, no, we got to keep Rhos's ambience. Yeah, I'm all for in keeping Rhos's ambience. I want to enhance it. And the Maddock project, Maddock being the prince in 1057 who sailed from Rhos to America and discovered America, and I've been talking to David Jones, MP, about this. He was even talking on one occasion and bringing the American ambassador.
Yes, he was. He was
And you
for
know,
it.
we can be known all over the world. We got a wonderful place in Rhos, and I tell you this, we need to open up that harbour area. We need to have a Maddock ship built, and you know, there's me finding a businessman interested in paying for it. And I hit barrier after barrier. These blockages have to go, Lindsay.
See, the thing is, there have been some great initiatives by the county council, as David has already said, you know, about in partnership with others like the Welsh Rugby Union and others. But they seem to want, and up until now, take the glory for themselves. What we want is to support local initiatives generated by local people, enterprise and entrepreneurship and creativity, good ideas.
Now, if I was to say to you, Lindsay, talking about Rhos first, Lindsay's going to come on to Old Colwyn and the Bay in just a moment. If I was to say to you, how's your watershed? What would you say, Lindsay?
Oh, dear.
Do you know Rhos Park has a problem watershed?
Right, it does.
It floods.
By the cricket club and the bowling club and Rhos Park.
We got it on one of our leaflets.
Yeah.
A picture there. Can you see it, Lindsay?
Oh, yes.
On one of the floods in the park.
That's right.
If I just bring it through to the... I'm just going to walk towards the camera. If you can just see it there. Whoa, can I just show it? Is it going to focus? Is it going to focus in? Yeah, it's just struggling with the focus there. But you can just see it there. There is a horrendous puddle there in the park. And they're all over the park. It doesn't even have to rain much because there's a drainage problem. And now they've found asbestos there. And you know, we need to have a council that responds quickly to these situations.
Yes.
We got to find grants. I mean, never seen anything like it with council officials. I mean, my goodness me. You know, the place is almost, you've got to find asbestos before they do something quickly.
Right.
So what we need to have is a council who is able to react to situations right away at less council tax coming in. We need a solution to this. I believe the solution to be local income tax, local corporation tax.
Indeed. And now, as regards Old Colwyn.
Old Colwyn.
Yeah, Old Colwyn.
Okay,
He's put me off with the singing. Sorry, folks. I can't think of what I was going to say now.
I love Old Colwyn. Go on.
Yeah, Old Colwyn. I mean, there's so many things there. There's the closure of Rashmi surgery, run by this dear Indian couple, I believe, for many years. And, you know, they're having to farm out the patients from that surgery mainly to Cadogan surgery, and some are going to West End surgery. So in a way, you're kind of breaking up the community by farming out patients to other places. And, you know, this is a North Wales-wide issue. I know it is, the shortage of GPs. But I'm just pointing out that Old Colwyn is a very close-knit community and needs to be kept as a community with its own GPs and its own surgeries. Also, regarding the schools, I've been chair of governors of a primary school, Scoil Hen Galwyn, for a number of years now, and you know, they've got serious funding problems in the schools,
I know.
particularly EIRIAS said the EIRIAS junior schools. Now, there are only a few junior schools left in Conwy County because they want to, basically, the council made a decision, to do away with them and have the schools all on one site. But the thing is, they haven't done it all yet. And while all the other junior schools are waiting for this to happen, they're being underfunded. This is not widely known.
Lindsay, there's a hard-working head there.
There is indeed.
And you
Very
have
genuine
been
and
a
sincere.
teacher all your working life,
I
really,
have.
or most of your working life. And you have taught in some of the best schools in the land.
I have. I've taught
like
in Gordonston.
the Queen's School,
And I've taught
Chester.
in the Queen's School, Chester, the High School of Dundee. These are all really...
And your heart is that the
schools.
very best can come to the people of Old Colwyn,
Absolutely.
the Bay and Rhos-on-Sea.
Yes.
And we are going to call the education department. They haven't been able to find a leader. What's they call it? Head of education?
It took them a long time. They've had
know
until
why?
an interim head
You know
of
why?
education.
I'm going to say it. The R word, racism.
Yeah, it is.
It is racism. Now let me explain. We are all for promoting the Welsh language. What we are against is when that is at the price of the education of our children. Because there is a policy in Conwy County Borough Council which we believe is racist, in that the best person for the job is not chosen because the emphasis, and this is what we believe, is on looking for a Welsh speaker only.
And this is really false, because at the moment there is already a great shortage of any Welsh teachers of Welsh, massive shortage of them. And although there are noble plans to, in the next 5 years or whatever it is, have a million Welsh speakers, they're going to have to train so many more Welsh teachers.
It's not going to work, is it?
No, it isn't.
So the education
Practicalities. What
of
they
our
need-
children
yeah.
will suffer.
So what they need to do, because I actually went on, you know this, don't
Yeah.
you? I actually went on Conwy Council's website because I was interested in this post, and I looked at Chief Education Officer's post, and the first question when you went on that was, do you consider yourself to be a fluent Welsh speaker? Well, you either tell a lie, which I wasn't prepared
She's a
to,
fluent
or you
speaker.
put no.
Can't
you
stop
put, well,
it.
I'm not. I've tried to learn it, but so far I am not by any means a fluent Welsh speaker. So I put no. So it said, sorry, you can't view this
That's
job.
racist, isn't it?
Well, I mean, actually,
believe it is.
Because another local authority called Wrexham, which also has many Welsh speakers in the area, they were quite happy to let you view their chief education officer post and to give you information on it, like the application form and the letter and the person specification. No problem, even if you do speak English and not much Welsh.
Lindsay,
I mean,
Lindsay.
all you have to do is have somebody, if it's the best person for the job and they're English speakers and not Welsh speakers, so what? The best qualifications and the best heart for education. And if they're willing to learn Welsh, which I mean we all would be, I'm sure, then great. What's the problem?
Is a control there, isn't there?
There is.
And
It's racist, I'm sorry to
it's
say.
what we believe. I mean, already on this website, if you're watching on our website, Dave and Lindsay TV, you'll see Margaret Dransfield recorded a piece this morning. Margaret Dransfield reveals ageism in the NHS and social services.
Absolutely.
And so, listen, you can vote for the status quo and it'll just go on forever. And that includes the Conservative Party. The Conservative Party, which we left, is a battleground between those looking to support the status quo and those looking to take on the establishment.
Yeah, this is a sad thing, you see. It's there are many good people in the party, really good people. Really, for whom we have huge respect.
Yeah. Like David Jones.
Yes, MP.
And his wife, Sarah.
Lovely people, but there are others who want to hold things back and keep keep the status
The
quo.
establishment.
That's gone. That went.
We voted no
when
to
we
that,
voted
didn't
no.
we? We voted to
When we
leave all
voted
that
leave.
politically correct
Yeah, we
stuff,
did.
didn't we? So what we need now is a party on board, because we could go on forever. I'm telling this is just a welcome piece to
Yeah.
our website. It's going to go on forever and ever, and we're going to do individual pieces shortly. But just to close this welcome, and we're going to go into more detail, Lindsay on EIRIAS and Colwyn and I on Rhos on Sea. Just to close this, Margaret Dransfield, who you'll find on this website, or on our YouTube channel if you're watching on there, she talked about having a normal physical condition and being sent to an elderly person's unit. And she had previously witnessed her best friend's life being taken over by social services and the NHS, of them making the decisions for her against the stated will in front of her own solicitor, who they never even contacted. We're going to take this on, everybody. It's called ageism.
Yes.
It's called control. And I've got a quote here from President Reagan, who said this: government's first duty is to protect the people, not run their lives. And if we're going to be on, and we will be on, if you vote for us, David P. Griffiths in LLANDRILLO and Rhos, E.M. Lindsay Griffiths in Colwyn and EIRIAS, if we are so honored that you have put your trust in us, we will take on the system that is taking over the lives of so many. We're all for support. We're all for social care. We're all for the NHS. What we are against is when those organizations give you what they have with one hand and then look to control your lives with another. And another quote from Reagan is this. He said this: socialists, and we have many good friends in the Labour Party and so forth, and there's different levels of socialism. But the big problem with socialism is not in social care, but in that the ideology commonly looks to take over the lives of people. And Reagan warned of this. He said, socialists ignore the side of man that is the spirit. They can provide you shelter, fill your belly with bacon and beans, treat you when you're ill, all the things guaranteed to a prisoner or a slave. They don't understand that we also dream. And we in Ukip are dreamers.
We are. Yes.
We have a dream of a country free from foreign control. And we in Bodlondeb, Conwy County Borough Council, are going to take on that control on you trusting us with your vote. Will you vote for David P. Griffiths in LLANDRILLO and Rhos, and for E.M. Lindsay Griffiths in Colwyn for county and EIRIAS for town? We thank you so much. This is such a special time. We look forward to your entry alongside Ukip on your ballot paper. Lindsay is going to say goodbye to you now.
Thank you.
I say goodbye. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the website. There's so much in it. Welcome to our YouTube channel. If you want our leaflets, contact us, please. We love to hear from you. 07542 565 415 for me. 07542 565 416 for Lindsay. We love you. Thank you for joining us. Lindsay, to close.
Yes.
Hey.
We're so glad, dear voters, viewers and listeners, that you've been listening to this, because believe me, we are out of the box, and we want to see a local government, Conwy County Borough Council, that really listens to people, all sorts of people of all ages and every kind of occupation or none. And we want to hear your views. We want to respect and listen to you. Too many people have felt for too long that nobody is listening to them. And that's still the case. So vote for David and Lindsay Griffiths, Ukip councillors, on the 4th of May, Thursday the 4th of May, folks. Please vote for us. We won't let you down. We have a proven track record.